Last night as I was watching France versus Ireland, I couldn't help but notice how Didier Deschamps excellently uses his double pivot as France ultimately line up in a 4-2-3-1. So I thought why not make a video about it just to show the differences between teams who don't care about positional play at all and the teams that do care about positional play like Barcelona. But before we get into all of that, please do subscribe to the channel as that will be helping the team and the channel to grow. So join the family guys, we upload 3 times a week. Let's get right into the video. Like with most pivots in the build-up phase, Ireland also looked to sit on Rabiot and Tchouaméni to close them down. Whichever side France then looked to build up, the right centre-back and the wing-back would come onto those players in order to restrict them. However, it was the pivot that made the difference as they were quite dynamic and constantly would swap positions whichever France would look to build up through to be the available options. As well as the centre-backs where they would go up to be able to draw players out of position in order to get the ball upfield. The ball would be released to Tchouaméni or Griezmann. But at Barcelona, you often see it's only Frenkie de Jong that mainly drops towards that left side of Barca, which kind of make Barcelona predictable, where Oriol Romeo always sits in that pivot position. And this is the difference between positional play and non-positional play. France uses the same tactic that Barcelona has where one of the pivots drops between the centre-back and the full-back, where the ball is actually used or the player's position used to be able to overload the one side. But Barcelona only does that to the left side, but France is actually doing that to the right side as well. So it's really very difficult, and in fact it's really balanced from France to be able to do something like this because of the dynamicness or the dynamism from this team. So you can overload both sides. Where Tchouaméni is overloading the one side, you can see that Rabiot is totally going to the other side where he's overloading that side as well. So this is where you have where Didier Deschamps is not really caring about positional play. He just wants everything to be balanced out perfectly. Whereas Xavi wants to overload the one side to be able to switch to the right side. We saw that with Lamine Yamal where he was having a crazy game against Cadiz. Didier Deschamps even uses his pivots to overload the sides of the pitch, where we see it's normally the free edge for Barca. But here you see it's the pivots that's doing that. And you will also see that these guys are also moving in the center, allowing Griezmann to connect with all of them. But for the most part, we do see that these guys often operate in the half spaces very wide in order to get players to be drawn out of position. At Barcelona, we see this clear tendency from Xavi having one of his wide centre-backs to go into the half-space position to draw players out of position. But at France, I saw something really weird where the pivots is actually playing extremely wide and they are the ones who's drawing these players, where the full-backs in this case are going completely forward to overload the side. This is a brilliant tactic because that opens up the center a whole lot where you would see the guys Griezmann, Mbappe and Dembele getting on the ball. This opens up the midfield extremely good for them and they can circulate the ball through the center. So at the same time they are stretched and they are pulled out of position by Tchouaméni and Adrien Rabiot. So this is a really great way of using the pivot, and I just thought it would be interesting for you guys to see how other teams are using their pivots according to what Barcelona do with their pivots. But do let me know, what do you think? Should Barcelona stick to their ways of using the pivots or should we adopt some new styles? As you have seen now in this video what France do with their pivots. But in the end, I think it's a great thing to see different perspectives. That's why I was making this video. So sorry if it's weird to have some France analysis on a Barcelona channel. but I just think it's great to see different perspectives as well. Please do subscribe to the channel to grow the family. We upload 3 times a week, and thank you very much for watching this video as well. Goodbye.